And we are back here on PSGL F2 for the race. Unfortunately, we had to take a brief interruption because the game, unfortunately, crashed for our host and he couldn't get back in. So we had to get a new lobby. Unfortunately, we have lost one driver in the midst of this. Unfortunately, Nordic Ninja has had some technical difficulties. This wasn't an isolated incident. He had this all night. So unfortunately, he will not be taking part tonight.
No. Early shower.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but his game was crashing all night. So, unfortunately, we have to get the show keeping on going.
Keep the show on the road. So everybody is going to get bumped up a further spot and we're getting ready to go.
Yes, we are. Here we go. 5 lights ahead of the drivers. And we are underway. It is the two Hasses that lead the field as I struggle to get an onboard feel. As Lawrence is going to try and go for the second place of Sergioli on the outside of the first corner. And he's hit him! He's hit the two. The two Hasses have collided, I think. That's Yanil has went right to the back.
Oh, it's carnage. We've got more cars sideways. We've got a bump and grind from a kick Sauber onto a McLaren. Man likes facing the wrong way. Cars in the gravel all over the place.
I'm starting to think, is this... No, this is the start. So Manlik's right at the bottom now. And unfortunately, we have Sergioli down to 4th now after the first lap incident. And he's got damage, so that's not going to help his cause. Sorry, I'm just flipping through what is going on here. And you see the big view of all the cars here. As now... Yanel is down in 17th, but it's Christian leading ahead of Lifeboat and Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence will be feeling pretty lucky to have managed to keep it clean, but I think, having said that, that Alpine does have front right end plate damage. Well, the front right end plate is not there at all, so not able to keep it clean on the medium tyres.
Look how close the top 3 are. They're almost crashing into each other. Lawrence is right behind Lifeboat, and he's going to go for the move for second place and try and not make the same mistake he did last time. By the way, he does have damage on that side pod, is not the side pod, the on that end plate of this right end plate is come off. So he's still keeping it together, but he's got Lifeboat right behind him now, and he's well behind Christian. It's not helping him through these first corners.
A lot of cars have damage. Finlay's got front wing damage as well. I think Zane's okay. Somebody else in the pack has got damage as well, as we've got Leonardo and Chris Rowell battling it out. Manlike has retired in the pits on the end of lap 1, so the McLaren sacking off. More contact going down into the hairpin. This time it's Fraser going into the back of even 9. I think the Williams has some damage as well.
Oh dear, I missed that. I was looking at what happened to Manlike. He retired in the pits.
Yes.
Yeah, he does have damage. That's that left end plate this time. And I think I know what's going on. The smoke is causing a bit of hassle as well. And I think Nassim's lost his wing. Is that... Someone's lost his wing? No, it's not. I'm sorry. It's just an illusion. It's so hard to tell. But look at how close it is at the top. Lawrence and Christian battling for the lead. And Lifebound third. That yellow flag is still, ticking off. I do apologise for that. As they come to start lap number 3.
Here we go, pass for the lead. Lawrence on the medium tyres, getting past ASRT. Christian on the hards. Lifeback trying to follow through as well and push the Ferrari down into 3rd place. Battles going on behind with Sergioli and Finlay. Finlay, deja vu from the previous week, getting stuck in with one of the Haas cars. ASRT Christian back up the inside and Lifeback retains 3rd position.
So now the top 4 are all in one big bundle. And so are the cars coming behind. They're going to try and close up as well to this leading pack. Half a second between Finlay and Zane.
More cars in the pits, by the way. Only the top 13 have managed to make it through unscathed and not coming into the box. Everybody inside the top 13, apart from Lawrence and Finlay on the medium tyres. Everybody else on the hard tyres. Then Evan Knight down to Santero on the mediums, with the exception of Franek Chisoni, who is on the hards.
Sergioli see his damage on his end plate there. That's not going to help him in any way or shape or form. So he's going to have to try and keep it together. They are keeping it together, I have to say. They are still sticking to the track and seem to have no problems. navigating it either.
Yeah, interesting, because you would imagine this is one of the circuits where front wing damage is going to be an absolute killer, but it might not be as bad as it looks cosmetically.
Yeah, Lawrence has damage as well.
Yeah, so has Finlay. A lot of drivers in this queue have some level of front wing damage. They're going to be rapid on the straights, though.
And here comes Christian onto the inside for the lead, and he takes it very nicely indeed.
Oh, battle behind. Coleman gets shoved off the road by Leonardo. Through goes the Ferrari, but sending it back up the inside as the V-carb. You are not coming through there, sir. And the Ferrari having to hold station. Yasir Saki nibbling at the heels of the Ferrari as well. Going to try and go around the outside of turn number 4. Not a lot of space left in there. Bumping and grinding. Contact with the front right tyre and the side pod of the Ferrari in the Alpine. Yasir Saki staying in 9th place.
Battles everywhere we go. And we said before we started that we weren't going to get much battling tonight.
I did say that. That now looks foolish.
Yeah, I'm glad we're wrong. Evan Nye's pitted for a new wing. I still kind of feel bad for Nordic Ninja, but his game was crashing, not just earlier tonight, but also last week. I think maybe before that. And if it's a continuous issue, I think it needs to be looked at.
Oh, off the road, Finlay struggling with that front wing damage. That will be a corner cutting warning. Potentially picked up another one there going through the penultimate corner. So that Mercedes could be on 2 corner cutting warnings already at the end of lap number 4. Nose to tail the leading trio at the moment with the Sergioli a further 0.4 of a second further back. This trio could be in the reverse order by the time we get down to turn number 1. Lawrence is going to file through. Lifeboat going to come through as well. Lawrence moving over to the right hand side of the track. Is Lifeboat going to send it up the inside? No, the RB remaining in second place. ASRT Christian losing both of those spots.
He thought about the move on Lawrence, but decided to back out, and he's now in second place, but he's lost a bit of ground. Here comes Christian again. Christian starting to close up again to Lifeboat, and if he's feeling very voracious, you never know, he could actually try and move in unorthodox areas, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case right now. He's just going to play it safe and find the opportune moves at the opportune time. Sergioli and Finlay still behind and still with damage. A lot of cars, as we have repeated a lot of times tonight, the damage doesn't seem to be facing them tonight, but I'm sure when the tyres start to wear out, it will start to become an issue. Here's the tyres then. Lawrence and Finlay on mediums. That might be the reason why they are much better than they pretty much theoretically should be. Lifeboat starting to really close up on the Lawrence now. He has the advantage in this right-hand turns in sector 3. Tell he's
last week's race winner, of course, looking strong once again.
Absolutely. So he's looking to get a move into the lead. Can he get it on lap number 6? We start, and it's easy as you like from the V-carb driver. And here comes Christian as well, and he's looking for that first place as well. He has to get past Lawrence first, and it looks like he has done so. So now he's going to try and get that lead back.
Lucky that Zane and Coleman don't have damage. There was a big concertina effect as everybody slowed down through turn number 1. The Aston Martin of Zane went into the back of Finlay, and Coleman in the RB went into the back of the Aston Martin, but both of them getting away unscathed.
Yes, indeed. So I had to turn the tyre graphic off because it's causing a bit of interference with the action on track here, so I could just say that the most notable drivers on the medium tyres are Finlay and Lawrence in the top 5. I guess there's Saki down there starting to lose ground from Coleman. And he's got no damage as well, but Coleman doesn't either, to be fair. Leonardo's struggling to get that car into gear. Stuck in 9th place and could be heading for a battle with Fraser behind. Lawrence starting to close back up to Christian in the Ferrari in that Alpine car. So it looks like it's going to be all change again in this game of chicken.
Yeah, quite the big DRS train at the moment, going from first down into 11th place with Chris Rebel at the tail end of the train. Starting lap number 7, it is Lifeboat leading from ASRT Christian, but for how much longer as the Ferrari pulls out to the right-hand side and the game of flip-flop continues. It's now Christian ahead of Lifeboat. Lawrence wasn't quite able to make a move up the inside. Sergio, he thought about trying to get past the Alpine. Finlay is a little bit wide through turn number 1, potentially vulnerable to Zane behind in the Aston Martin, especially with that front wing damage, but not quite close enough, the green machine.
So a quarter of a second separates the top two, and I think a quarter of a second pretty much separates the whole field. As you can see, only Diogo Silva and those who have already pit are behind 1 second DRS zone. So Christian still leading the race in that Ferrari lifeboat. Will not give an inch. You can see he's just sticking with Christian. Lawrence as well into third. Pretty much 1/4 of the race about to be completed here at the Losail International Circuit in Qatar. Sponsored by PSGL. PSGL sponsored by Sim Racing Centre and GT Omega.
Important question, I think. These drivers that do have front wing damage, when we come into the pits in maybe 5 or 6 laps time, what do they do? Do they change the front wing and try and get a little bit of that performance back? Or do they just try and stick it out? What would you do, Logan?
Well, considering it's not been hurting them, as Lifeboat's about to make a move on Christian again, and possibly Sergio and Lawrence, I'd actually just set the front wing change to off, as he's actually going for Christian as well as Sergio, but can't get the move done, and we'll have to wait behind him. But this actually gives Lifeboat a bit of an edge over the field. He gets a bigger gap, but I'm sure that gap will be nothing when you come around. Next time around, oh my goodness, we just had a bit of lag there. That's not good to see.
Not at all. Yeah, I think the front wing situation is an interesting one because obviously having less downforce on the front, you are going to wear those front tyres out a little bit more. But if it's not too concerning, the pace seems pretty solid for the likes of Christian, Sergioli, Lawrence and Finlay. Funnily enough, the drivers from second down to fifth, all with a little bit of front wing damage each. If Lifeboat doesn't escape away, which the RB is starting to do, that gap now 6/10, that's the biggest it's been in this race so far, maybe they will consider just carrying on.
Maybe they could. Look at the gap now, 7 tenths, and he's got a clean front wing, no damage to it. So does Christian. Then again, Sergioli has a broken left end plate, and Nordic Ninja is not in this race, and he's left the session. Again, we said he joined way too late. We gave him a lot of chance to know his game. Crashing is not his fault. However, he had, of course, had this issue last week.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just an unfortunate scenario. Lawrence potentially losing another place. Around the outside goes Finlay in the Mercedes. Before we even get to the braking zone, that Silver Arrow is ahead of the Alpine car, and Finlay getting up into fourth. Coolman very close to the back of Zane as well. Leonardo a further 6 tenths, now 5 tenths of a second off the back of this dueling trio, but we continue to remain in formation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, coming through turns 4 and 5 are the leading pack, and that's an opportunistic move from Coleman going in the inside off Zane. Sorry for the lag there, but it doesn't look like he can get it. Not there. It was an opportune move though, so you've got to respect the hustle. Stays in 7th place behind Zane. Meanwhile, further up, it's still Lifeboat half a second ahead of Christian, keeping the rivals at bay. 9 of 29 about to begin is Lifeboat. Going to try and go 2 in a row here in Qatar, and possibly go even further up the order with this win. It would be putting him on 33 points if that is the case. Maybe 34 if he gets the fastest lap.
And you have to say that back-to-back wins would certainly put Lifeboat in championship contention as Santera picks up the first corner-cutting penalty of the race. I expect they're going to come thick and fast. What order are we going to be in as we come down to turn number 1 on lap number 10? People not particularly close together, with the exception of Coleman, who darts over with the defensive shake thrown by Zane, but I think the Aston Martin is going to be defenceless. Fancies potentially a look up the inside of Lawrence as well, with the RB having to be satisfied with getting 6th position there.
Yeah, he does. So now into 6th place goes Coleman, and just behind Lawrence. And is that a battle there behind as well? Leonardo and Zane getting feisty into turn number 4. But it doesn't look like any position has been gained or lost. Heading into... Look at all that smoke. That's going to be a caution for all the drivers. Oh, and he pushes around. Leonardo does, Yasser Saki. Heading into the next turn. This may be dangerous. They're not careful. And it looks like they're through safely.
Space left. Oh. Leonardo, that is an interesting line there. Not troubling the apex at all. Could be vulnerable to Fraser. No, the kicks out, but not with a particularly good exit. Chris Rebel still in hot pursuit, just outside the points paying positions. The gaps are starting to open up a little bit though. 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 6 tenths at the moment between the top 5.
Yeah, 4 tenths now the gap. I think the damage is starting to hurt Lawrence, and that's now on Frantic Jashorny battling for 17th place.
That is through. The pole sitter fighting over the wooden spoon, unfortunately enough. I think ASRT Christian is going to get the lead back from life back down into turn number 1. Swapping for places. Coolman on the move again. This time it's Lawrence being pushed down into 6th place. Coolman looks very quick here. Could potentially join his teammate on the podium in just a matter of laps. And Finlay 9 tenths off the back of Sergioli. That Mercedes has got to be careful as well.
Yes, of course. So we head into lap number 11. This race, just completed 1/3 of the race, and this is about the time we should be checking the tyres. We're on the verge of the pit stops for the medium tyre runners. That's Finlay and Lawrence.
Absolutely, and especially with that front wing damage, using the front tyres a little bit more. Lock up for Coolman though, potentially Lawrence thinking about a move, but actually getting balked behind the RB and losing the time that was gained by the mistake from Coolman in front. Still loads of the black smoke being thrown up as we file through the middle sector and up towards the Turkey Turn 8 style couple of corners.
Yeah.
In reverse, obviously.
I do think that's a graphics issue since the new update, so we do apologise. That's been a problem. It's not been a problem on PC, but on PlayStation it definitely has been. I'm not sure what the fix will be. Hopefully it'll get sorted in the next update.
Absolutely. Lifeboat very close to the back of Christian, almost pushing the Ferrari out of the final corner, and as we've seen in the previous few laps, the lead is going to change hands. What is Sergioli going to do? Finlay's been dropped out of DRS range. Coolman gets up into 4th. Bit of contact between the Ferrari and the Haas. Sergioli slightly too late on the brakes, just a little love tap to the rear of the Scarlet car. All is well though, we remain in formation. 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Coolman outside of DRS range as he gets past Finlay though. He's going to have to put his foot down.
Yes, of course, he is going to have to. We are live, by the way, just to make sure. One time we weren't live for some reason, and that just ruined our broadcast entirely. But here we come then through the through the fire and flames, I would have to say, but no, that's not true. Through the course that is the Losail International Circuit, and what a beauty of a circuit is. Used for motorcycle racing for about 20 years, from 2004, when it was just newly built, and of course to its regeneration for more than that, Formula 1 especially.
I think we're seeing the end of Yano, in the pits,
Yeah.
the pole sitter.
It's over.
The second retiree, Finlay wide, they're almost exceeding track limits. I think these medium runners are going to be into the box very, very shortly. Finlay in particular really struggling along with the front wing damage, and yes, the Mercedes does peel off into the pits.
Yeah, the Eve Finlay driver coming in, and so is Leonardo as well. This will be for a change, and look at this, it's free wide for position. That is Zane, Lawrence and Yasser Saki. So 2 LPs, they all go off the track. That's a bit naughty from all 3. And look at that, through goes Fraser, the beneficiary of this triple threat. He wasn't even in it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and the French Civil War breaking out at Alpine with the Aston Martin of Zane involved as well. I think looked a little bit like it was just a contact model, just the cars getting glued to each other and getting dragged off the circuit, but Fraser will not complain at all, picking up 3 places into 5th. They are now 2 seconds off the back of the leading quartet though, which is going to be very hard to try and overcome.
Yeah, the Alpine Sao Paulo honeymoon is over. Oh wait, that's the wrong universe. But yeah, that not a good look for the team, and Fraser taking advantage of it, Zane getting caught up in it, and now Chris Revel's going to fancy a challenge of the Alpines.
Potentially, because Lawrence on those mediums is really, really struggling. I don't want to use the word slow, but I think that's the only word that really applies for that second Alpine with the front wing damage. And with Finlay pitting on the previous lap, surely this is the time for Lawrence to come in.
Well, let's find out. The top 4 are staying out, and yet that's the Alpine of Lawrence coming in for a pit stop.
So where are they going to come out? Leonardo's actually got ahead of Finlay, by the way.
Yeah, sorry, I had to cut away there because there's battles happening behind. Zane finally gets past Fraser after the squabbling with the Alpines in the previous lap. Lifeboat is still ahead of Christian. And Lawrence should be coming out alongside. No, he won't. He comes alongside Leonardo and Finlay. I think that squabbling in the first corner has cost him a chance at getting ahead of Finlay and Leonardo as well.
And Finlay could struggle here because Leonardo on the medium tyres and with a fully working front wing. Finlay's got to be very careful he doesn't get dropped by this Ferrari and fall back into the clutches of Lawrence, who also didn't repair the front wing damage. Finlay with a 3-second penalty as we say that, the 4th of the race.
That's not what he wanted. Now he, Leonardo, McKiller and Santero have penalties of 3 seconds. The gap remains 3.5 tenths between second and first, and as well as third and second. Coleman start to close in half a second down as we approach the halfway point of this race.
I tell you what, that peloton group, as you can call it now, from Zane down to Chris Rebel, are a lot slower. They've lost 0.6 of a second on the previous couple of laps to the quartet out in front. Fraser's going to make light work of Zane with the helping hand of DRS. Yasser Saki following through as well. Potentially wants to have a look at the kicks out, but cannot get past the garish lime green car, and Fraser holding on to 5th.
Which is getting a new livery in Las Vegas.
It is.
It's going to be on fire! It is literally on flames. It's just as there are chances of getting points.
Finlay fastest lap. Leonardo with 6 seconds worth of penalties now, so any chances of points for the Ferrari car seemingly out of the window. Lawrence is 3 seconds now off the back of Finlay, so I think this strategy not working out for the drivers that started on mediums. I would be very surprised to see Lawrence scoring points in this race, I have to say now.
So would I. So we come through to the halfway point, as we have said. Top 4 will not let go of each other, and 2 of them are V-Carbs.
Yes, good for the constructors because they have not started brilliantly. They have only had 1 points finish so far, the V-Carb team, and that was 10th in round number 2 in Qatar, so they sit 9th in the championship on 1 point. No, they're 10th in the championship actually, because Red Bull have had a 9th place finish. That graphic's a little bit wrong there.
We have a change for lead again. Christian back into the lead. And Yasser Saki and Fraser have battled again, and that's Yasser Saki up to 5th. Jeez, was that a giant hand that went into the screen? Jeez, that was scary. The crowd shots have got more and more obscene.
Ooh, Sergio, really be careful there with your front wing damage. That was very nearly a warning. I'm going to do some spying now, looking at how many warnings the leading group have got.
Okay, you do that, and that's a mistake from Sergio turn 6, I believe. Yes, turn 6. And he makes a mistake through turn 7 now, and the gap is starting to get smaller. Anyone for an opportune dive out of this turn? No, they're just playing it safe as they should. Leonardo, 9 seconds of penalties now. Not looking good, and it's becoming increasingly more ominous for him in this race.
It's pretty clean, I have to say. Christian with 1 warning, the same for Lifebout. No warnings for the Haas of Sergio, which is very surprising considering the front wing damage. And Coolman, I don't believe, has any either.
Yeah. So here we go. Is this going to be free wide for the lead? It is! And Lifeboat is ahead now of Sergio and Christian, and there is some shifting about because there is some pit stops as McKillen is going to overtake Diogo Silva for what will be 5th on the track, but it probably won't be for long as they have yet to pit.
So that leaves this top 4 with an interesting conundrum. You'll like that, conundrums. Who comes into the pits first? All on the hard tyres, so it will be mediums to the end. The soft tyres in a race stint are absolutely atrocious around this circuit. You want to steer clear of those. Will they be coming in on this lap? Obviously, the 2 RB cars, Coleman in particular, is going to be a little bit in a little bit of trouble because he'll have to queue behind his teammate if he wants to come in on this lap if Lifebout elects to come in.
Yep. So the leading four yet to pit. They're going to be overcut here. It'll be quite interesting of how they'll tackle it, but I'm sure they'll come ahead of Leonardo and Finlay, unless they battle too much. Speaking of battles, there isn't one there because that's just a pit stop for Santero. Chris Rebel's right behind Lawrence, who's fallen down to 12. Here they
found
come.
themselves at the back of a DRS train, though. All into the pits. Yes, it was the three. So the leading trio come in, leaving Coolman out to dry.
Out, yeah.
Lifeboat Sergioli and ASRT Christian in. Is Leonardo going to lead this race?
Let's find out. Will not be for now. Coleman is in the lead. The killer is not coming yet. He's staying out.
Oh. Leonardo miles off the circuit around the final corner.
Lifeboat Sergio and Christian. Leonardo's there. Leonardo is ahead. Wow.
Here comes Finlay as well, but just at the rear of them coming out of the pits. Christian almost into the back of Sergioli. So Leonardo leads the way on old medium tyres. Yeah, and got 6 seconds worth of penalty. So going to be swallowed up, but it's certainly going to be a cork in the bottle for these faster cars coming through. Watch this space. This could get quite busy.
Coleman. Sorry. Coleman might benefit from this.
Potentially.
Together. As Fraser and Finlay have swapped position out of turn 6, that is.
And Yasir Saki nearly goes bowling with Finlay. That's just the extra grip the Alpine's got on the much fresher medium compound tyres. Finlay, a little bit of a sitting duck at the moment. 6 laps on those hard tyres. Is going to tumble through the field very quickly, you would imagine, along with Lawrence, who is already dropping out of the DRS train behind Chris Rebel.
So look how close Lifeboat is to Leonardo. He's had enough of his games. He wants to get through immediately. Gets right behind him as Coleman has finally made a stop, by the way. So McKillo will now be in the lead. But where's Coleman going to come out? Is he going to come out ahead of his teammate or behind his teammate? As Lifeboat and Leonardo will come to blows, and so will Sergio and Christian. They're all swarming around for position as Lawrence has retired in the pit lane. Sergioli gets ahead of Leonardo. Now, surely you've got to take your teammate through, right? Yes, he does. He lets Christian through, and now he'll hold up Coleman and Co. Coleman has just fallen behind the leading pack, so Lifeboat is back in the lead of this race, pretty much.
Coolman has got to get through now, otherwise his chances of winning this race are going to be very, very short. Oh, we're going to see the lunge up the inside into turn number 6. Has a little look, has a little tap at the back of the Ferrari as well.
Oh,
well,
mistake.
There you go. Thank you very much. A wobble from Leonardo. That is all the invitation that Coolman needs, and Leonardo now dropping to the back of this train.
Yeah, and I think he's made a mistake as well. Yeah, he's fallen down to P11, and that'll be his chances of winning this race completely out the window. Nassim is on soft tyres, by the way. Interesting.
Wow.
And he gets to boot. He gets another 3-second penalty. That's 12 seconds of penalties for Leonardo. But Lifeboat leads the race again, ahead of Sergioli, ahead of Christian, ahead of Coleman, ahead of Fraser, ahead of Yasser Sagi, ahead of Zane.
Santero is out. So we're down to 15 runners now. Lifeboat with the fastest lap of the race. Is Sergio only going to think about a move down into turn number 1? The DRS lap is open. That is gaining all the time, but not quite close enough to make a lunge up the inside into turn number 1. ASRT Christian was close as well. Coolman thanking his lucky stars that Leonardo got out of the way in the middle sector, courtesy of that little mistake, but does have a little bit of time to try and catch up to that trio at the moment.
Leonardo has thrown in the towel. He is out of the race. So Christian, the lonesome Ferrari, left in this race, challenging Sergioli for a podium position.
Wonder when McKillen's going to come in. Obviously goal hanging
safety
for
car.
A safety car. I don't think we're going to get it though.
The new strat, ladies and gentlemen, goal hanging. It helped someone win a title.
It did.
But we'd rather not talk about that. It's helped people win races before as well. Again, that's another story for another day. So, the gap between Lifeboat and McKiller being 9 seconds. And he's still not pitting. In fact, he's about to lap Even, who is in... Actually, no, he's about to lap Freilich, who has become the first car to be lapped in this race.
I have to commend even Knight and Franick for carrying on here. Being that far off the lead, the same with Nassim as well. They could have easily thrown in the towel, but the towel, but respect to them for carrying on. Chris Rebel pushes Finlay down into 10th position. Those hard tyres really struggling on the Mercedes, going to be scrapping to try and pick up just a couple of points, you would imagine.
Yeah, because the safety car could change things, but I think because the rules usually the lap cars can't overtake, I don't think that's going to be happening. So. Still putting in an effort, that's great to see. The top three coming out of turn number 6 and fighting for the win in this race. Lifeboat, Sergioli, Christian, Coleman, Fraser, your top 5 if we exclude McKiller, who's yet to pit.
Who's your favourite for the win? Let's have it, Logan. Who do you think?
Oh, that's tough to call. By the way, McKiller is fighting with Franick. What have we just seen? What have we just seen, T-Dub?
Oh, we had quite a lot of lag on mine, is what I was seeing.
Oh, right. I was wondering what happened there. What's going on here? McKinley's actually let Frank Deschorny lap himself. Good sportsmanship from McKiller. Not in the race to win. Oh, here's the race to win here. Sergioli, Lifeboat, Christian. Oh dear, and Christian's been caught up in that. That's Christian has been dropped down to 4th as a result. I know he's going to try and gain that back. But Lifeboat and Sergioli are fighting for the win here. And that is Lifeboat through. Now Coleman's going to have a chance to get involved as well. There is Fraser as well. Fraser getting involved too. There we have 5.
Yeah, it was an absolutely brilliant move up the inside into turn number 1 from Coolman. That was a very late defensive dart to the inside for Christian as Fraser was sniffing an opportunity to get up into 5th place, 4th on the road with the other Kicksauber yet to come in. But yeah, Coolman was a brilliant lunge up the inside, opportunistic as ever to get past Christian.
Absolutely. So, we have 8 laps left here at the Lusail International Circuit. It is now starting to come alive. Yasser Saki's joined the train. The top 6 here fighting for the glory, if we don't count McKillany, because he's yet to pit. He really wants that safety car. I don't think it's about to come because he has just been sitting there, and besides, he would have to pit anyway. So yeah. I think the others would probably stay out. So I'm not sure what his thought process is, but he has his own race to run. That is Sergioli deciding not to overtake. We're getting very tactical here now. Game of war, a game of bluff occurring before our very eyes.
Fraser's looking incredibly racy behind the Ferrari of SRT Christian. This Kicksauber wants a potential podium spot. Bit of a wobble down into 4 for Christian, but Matters not remaining in 4th place. Another wobble through 5. Fraser goes off the circuit, though, and isn't going to be able to make a lunge up the inside into 6.
No, so 7 to go, and look who's joined the party, Zane. 7-horse race now. 2 of them in the same stable.
This is as close as qualifying was, which is a delight to see. Sergioli sat in an RB sandwich at the moment. Lifeboat looks comfortable, you have to say, but with the strength
Saki's
of the DRS,
off.
yes, Saki's lost it, yeah.
He's gone off. He's lost 2 seconds and a position, so that might be the end of his chance of winning. Evan Knight's got a penalty. By the way, these 6 drivers here, no penalties. They are all on a level playing field.
They do have differing numbers of warnings, though, so with 6 laps to go, there could still be penalties handed out.
Christian's wide, and Fraser's going to fancy a move up the inside off Christian heading into the corner. Any moves up further front? Coleman trying to block any potential moves, but Christian's like, no, I'm going to try it myself anyway. Oh no, Coleman has got caught up with it, and Fraser's going to go on the outside. This will be a audacious move, he can do it. Fraser on the inside, and doesn't get it. I thought he had him for a second, but no, he doesn't. And Coleman lucky to still be running, but at the cost of a place.
Yeah, he was completely spooked by that look up the inside from Christian. Went straight into the back of the Haas of Sergioli. Contact between the Ferrari and the RB then as well. Lucky not to be spun round by the Scarlet car. Fraser trying to hang it all the way around the outside. That was never going to work, staying in sixth position on the road. But like you said, cool man. I would take out a lottery ticket after that one, because that was 2 errors made in the space of a corner, but managed to keep yourself in the fight for the win.
McKellar is now 2.5 seconds ahead of this leading bunch. He might act spoiler for Fraser. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, teammates in the same esports team as well.
Oh yeah, they
there
are.
could be some team play going on.
So is McKellar going to be staying out again? The answer is yes. As the leading pack come to make their charge with 5 to go.
An added little bit of mischief maybe in the remaining 5 laps of this race. Here we go, Sergioli up the inside of Lifeboat into turn number 1. The RB going to try and hang it around the outside. The Haas a little bit tentative with that front wing damage, and the door is slammed shut. Lifeboat holds on to the net race lead.
No bueno for Sergioli, and that wing damage. Despite that wing damage, he has pretty much not changed a bit in performance. So he stays in second for now, but Christian starting to close up, as well as Coman. Fraser hanging it out at the back there, and Zane needs to catch up. He is within, I'd say, 2 seconds of the net lead. Yasser Saki is starting to fall well behind. I think the tyre wear's got to him with that little spin he had, or whatever it was. I didn't see it on camera. He's only holding up Chris Rebel here. And McKellar's going to only be holding up Lifeboat and Co. once he gets to him. 1.3, 1.3, 1.25, 1.1. Yeah, he's on 25 lap old hards, is McKellar. But is he going to have a say in this? Perhaps, because now he is in DRS range. No, he's given up. He has given up. He's given Lifeboat no hope whatsoever. And probably Fraser as well, because now he won't get any assist.
I'm surprised that Lifeboat didn't get any DRS there, but down into turn number 1, Sergioli not close enough. Fraser, little look up the inside of Coolman. This time the RB doesn't get spooked and holds on to 4th.
Yeah, and McKellar, I think, will be coming out in P11. He won't get anywhere near the seam, and I don't know if that's going to be good enough for points. Probably not, unless there is a retirement.
Yeah, definitely not. 10 seconds off the back of Diogo Silva and a penalty looming over the head. The McLaren, fairly safe at this time.
Yeah, but he'll probably be 11th, as all the other drivers are well behind. So 1:09 behind are they, but the leading pack starting to build up to this final crescendo in this race. Can Sergioli find a way to get Haas a 4th win in 5 opening races? That would be something.
It would, extending their already sizable lead in the constructors. Can RB get their 2nd points finish of the season? The 2 drivers running 1st and 4th at the moment. They've got just 1 point in the opening 4 races. This would be quite the haul if it finishes as is. ASRT Christian, another driver trying to close the gap to the championship leader Epic Vale in the standings. If he can finish ahead of Sergioli, that would be absolutely delightful. We are going to see some positions changing though. Lifeboat getting swallowed up by a couple of cars. Through goes the Haas of Sergioli. Christian on the inside. Barely enough room for 2 cars there. Coolman sniffing around trying to find an opportunity. Christian's wide though. Is that the opportunity to get 2 RBs on the podium? I think it is going to be. Oh, look at the drive.
And Christian are still fighting each other for side by side for 3rd place. Coleman on the outside, but he's going to have to yield here, surely. No, he's not. He's not giving an inch. And he's got the inside into turn number 6. Still, they can't be separated.
Oh, Coolman did get a bit of a shove off the road, though, through turn number 5. Christian holding on to 3rd place, going through 6 and then 7. So we retain the status quo from 3rd down into 6th position. Although Coolman, I don't think we'll be particularly happy. That was a little look up the inside from Fraser. Christian with a penalty.
Christian with a penalty. That's the last thing he wanted. Coleman is now right behind. Sergioli is in the lead again. Coleman now needs to get past Christian as soon as possible, because look who's right behind him. Fraser is. Oh dear.
And we need to remember, Sergioli has front wing damage and has done this whole race.
madness. From the very first corner.
Christian was wide again through the final corner. Very quick in a straight line, though. Could be in the lead by the time we get down to turn number 1. Dumping the ERS, going over to the outside. Lifeback trying to go up the inside. There's contact. Everybody's involved. It's Fraser, it's Christian, it's Zane at the back of the pack. The two RBs managed to continue unscathed, but it's Christian and Fraser's race over.
Fraser set to track, and we were thinking that would happen. ARCT Christian and Fraser getting too trigger happy and only cost himself the race. Now Coleman is still a chance of winning this race. He started in P11 and is on for a podium.
Does have some wing damage though from that little skirmish.
Oh, he does. He does, you're right. I didn't see him being involved in that, so it might hurt him in his chance of winning the race. And he won't be any assist to Lifeboat.
No. I think we are down to a 2-horse race because Zane has got significant front wing damage as well after clattering into the rear of the ailing Kick Sauber and Ferrari of Christian. Eve Finlay, Chris Rebel and Yasser Saki could be picking up quite a few places on the final lap. And as we get towards lap number 29, the gap is 0.2 of a second between the Haas and the RB.
So here we go. Sergioli and Lifeboat on the final lap of this race. Lifeboat is going to try and make a move on the outside. Is Sergioli going to try and cover it? No, he's not. Lifeboat takes the lead.
Now, can he hold on to it? That's the question. Where is Sergioli going to be thinking about making a move? Potentially the next opportunity is going to be down into turn number 6. If he can follow very closely through this double right-hander of 4 and 5, try and get the lead back down into the hairpin.
Looking for it, moves further back. There isn't anything, but my goodness, Sergioli they're on equal battery, I see. Sergioli's got more fuel in the tank though, so that's not going to help him weight-wise. Just a few corners to go here at Losail. Sergioli starting to fall back. Coleman is falling well back. He can't win this race now, surely not. And McKillen's got a penalty. Sergioli and Lifeboat fighting for the win. Sergioli starting to close up. 3 attempts to gap.
Running out of time.
He is running out of time. He needs to find a move. He needs to send it. He's starting to close up. When's he going to dump all the battery? Starting to close up now. He's got to go for it as soon as possible.
No.
No, he's not going to do it. And he's had a slide out of the corner. Lifeboat. Is he going to hold on? The answer is yes, he has. And takes victory again.
Back to back. And it is a double podium for RB as well. Sergioli takes a big chunk out of Epic Vale's championship lead. Zane coming home wounded, but coming home in 4th place. Fraser and Christian after their last lap scrap, I think that is the best way to put it, or penultimate lap scrap, end up in 5th and 6th on the road. Chris Rebel, who was very much in the wars in this race as well, coming home in 7th. Diogo Silva in 8th. Yasser Saki and Finlay takes the final spot inside the points paying positions. McKillen missing out by 5 seconds, and then a long way back to the trio that have had well, not quite the evening's work that they would have liked.
So Lifeboat 2 in a row. What an achievement. And now he's going to try and stop the Haas dynasty single-handedly.
Looks like the closest challenger, doesn't he? Didn't take part in the opening couple of races. And won in Qatar. It's really, as a reserve as well, we've got to mention that, as a reserve, put them very much at the forefront of this championship battle.
Consolation for Sergioli. He does gain 12 points and overtakes Epic Vale, the absent Epic Vale tonight, by 1 point. But, as you said, nearest challenger now is Lifeboat with 33 points.
And you've got to feel missed opportunity for the likes of Yasser, Saki, Finlay, and ASRT Christian as well. All who had their own trials and tribulations during the race. But it is Lifeboat going back to back. Sergioli will be content picking up a very decent haul of points in that race as well. Who's going to be delighted? Good recovery from Fraser after starting only 12th to finish 5th despite the incident on the penultimate lap. Coolman from 11th getting onto the podium as well. And Diogo Silva from 17th. Brilliant drive, keeping out of trouble to finish 8th.
Yep. So there we go. There we go. What a day. And there it is, the result. Lifeboat gets from 5th to 1st and takes a 2nd consecutive victory. Sergio takes a championship lead for a 2nd place finish, but very close to taking the win. Coleman finishes in 3rd to secure a Visa Cash Out Racing Bulls team podium. Zane in 4th. Fraser in 5th. Christian Down in 6th. Chris Rebel in 7th. Diogo Silva in 8th. Yasser Saki goes from 16th to 9th. And Finlay finishes on 10th. And there's the remainder of the finishers.
What this does mean, though, like you said, we have a championship battle on our hands, which we haven't had for the last couple of seasons, especially last season when it was ET8 Paul romping away out in front, now been promoted, of course, to Tier 1. I think we could have a very interesting clash, potentially between 3 drivers if Lifebout does continue to get in every week as a reserve.
Absolutely. So there you go. What a night. Action. There was close battling throughout the race, especially involving the top drivers. Well, it did get a bit out of hand near the end. And even with the wing damage, there's quite a lot of it. Didn't seem to have faced them at all.
Yes.
So,
Well, before we do jump off, a couple of sponsors that we need to talk about. Starting off, GT Omega, best sim racing equipment in the game. If you want to get your hands on some of it, head over there and use the code PSGL out checkout. That'll give you 5% off. And Sim Racing Centre, if you want some coaching or some setups, if you head over there and use the same code PSGL, that'll give you 10% off their services.
just a quick mention, we're not here next week. We get break week. So we'll be back on December the 2nd. We're entering the last month of 2024 with a bang as we're going back to the most glamorous place on earth. Oh yes, it's the amazing tax haven that is Monte Carlo.
That is worth the wait, I would say.
Heck yes. And it'll be my birthday that week as well. It'll be 26 on the Wednesday. The 4th of December. Not this week. A couple more weeks to wait.
Well, until next time, couple of weeks. I think it's been a very good one. I thought it was going to be a bit of a disaster class in Qatar. Not the best of circuits, but it was actually a lot of fun.
Indeed. And we'd just like to say thank you all for watching. We all love you viewers tuning in every week. There's F1 on right now. I think it's in progress of their race, so we'll just hop off now and we will see you in 2 weeks. Good night.
Goodbye.